Well, hello, hi. It is me, it is I, Small Town Didi, your Khadi on the internet, and I'm back. Hello, yalla. Okay. We're back. I know I said I'm young, famous, and African fatigued, but I would like to see it through, only because I think I've dropped 2 franchises because I got bored halfway, because then I'd just give you guys like lackluster reviews, and I don't want to do that. But I actually did enjoy this. I just don't like how they rolled out the episodes like the entire season at once. Like, you watch it and like you put it out of your mind. So I'm like, who would I be reviewing this for? The 5 of you who want to watch, will rock it out together. All right, let's get into it. Episode 4 and 5. Hopefully I managed to do both in one episode. Otherwise I'm gonna have to split the video, which I don't want to. But let's get into it. Bonang invites Annie and Zari onto her boat in Northwest, and everybody's looking cute. It's really nice. Annie arrives first. She has no knowledge that Zari's going to show up later in the scene, and Zari's not aware that Annie has been invited to this thing as well. They both know that they're going to be spending time with Bonang. And then Bonang wants to know, what's going on with you and Swanky? And Annie tells us half a story. We can all tell it's half a story. Bonang says this feels like half a story. She says, you know what? I brainstormed an idea with Swanky to put together an event to celebrate everybody that was part, essentially everybody from South Africa could come up to Lagos who's part of this cast from season 1, and we could have this big blowout and have it be a thing and really celebrate the success of the show and ourselves and so forth and so on. To which she says, Swanky said, yeah, you know what, I don't think it's a great idea for now, whatever. I don't believe her. There's nothing about what Annie's saying seems believable to me, but that's what she says happened. But Annie doesn't believe her either. And then she says that Swanky snubbed the idea, and then she sees him through a similar event or the exact same event to which she wasn't invited, and that really hurt her. But Annie says, you know what, I feel like I'm getting half the story here, but okay, we will run with it. Something is missing. Zari shows up to this thing. They try to be somewhat cordial with Annie, and then Bonang explains to Zari what Annie says transpired between herself and Swanky. And she even plays them the voice note, feeling like he's being inauthentic, where he reached out to her to be like, hey, what's going on? I'm seeing this in the blogs. I know we're going through some things, but can we shelve this because you're clearly going through this? I don't like that she played them that voice note. She didn't have, up until this moment, her and Swanky were doing a great job of honoring their friendship, in that they weren't oversharing with everybody what's going on between them until they had an opportunity to sit down and figure out what's going on. And here is where Annie lost the plot for me. She didn't have to play this video, but Bonang was pressing her for answers about this. And then Zari at some point calls Kanye a snake. I'm not sure why. I can't remember what was said, but at some point she says, you know what, I understand her. She feels like Kanye brought her into the group in the first season and then attacked her. Toward the last season, toward the last part of the season, Kanye sort of fell out with Zari or attacked Zari, felt like Zari was treating them like fans and things of that nature. It was unfounded for me. It really just was. No, I didn't get it. But in the next scene, we have Nadia linking up with Kaylee, Kanye, and Louis. No, and Swanky. Louis isn't here. I think Louis is in the scene at some point. He shows up. Nadia gets weird. Nadia decides to say, oh, I feel like Annie and I aren't friends. Annie's going through all of this with Tubaba. They're in the blogs, they're in whatever. But for some reason, Kanye and what's her name? Kanye and Nadia are expecting Annie to be this ever-present friend. In her time of need, they have an expectation of her to show up for them. It's so bizarre to me, so odd. I don't think that's what's going on. I feel like she didn't snap Bonang with them, and they're trying to have her on the outs because they don't like Bonang, right? Or they're envious of Bonang, or they have their history with Bonang. It's all of these things, by the way, to me. It just looks like that. Kaylee then says, I know I would feel some type of way if somebody had said fuck you to me, or fuck me, or whatever, like you did to Annie, to Kanye. And Kanye's holding her ground, like, no, that's what friends do. That's how, we're friends and we're all among family. We should be able to say this and that. Some people do not like being spoken to like that. They just don't like it. And then she holds her ground. Kaylee's a very firm girl. Like, she has her own mind. She's not doing this mob thing. Even last season, when Kanye was having this weird, like, left field kind of attack on Zari, her and Quinton were like, no, we don't get it. Because there was nothing to get. Like, her ego was like having a fight with what she presumed to be Zari's fight. So she doesn't just go along with the crowd. I've noticed that about her, and I like that. But she'll probably let Quinton like play her like a fucking fiddle. That's the thing with these types of girls. They can be bright when it's time to deal with other women and pretend like they're idiots when it's time to deal with a man. I don't know how that works. But you know, Nadia's like, I feel like Annie's not being a good friend, and I feel like I was a friend with her through Swanky, and now that relationship is not there anymore, and I feel myself reaching out to her, trying to nurture a friendship, and she's not reciprocating that energy. So I don't know how I really feel about her. All right. The Adibias, that will be Annie and Tubaba, host a dinner, and okay, because Annie's a beautiful woman. Annie is gorgeous, but she's so sad you don't see. Her smile is often an awkward smile that there's a shot where she's walking into this dinner with Tubaba, and you know that's her light and life. So she'll actually show you a genuine, real happy smile when she's with him. And there's a shot where they're walking in, and I'm like, oh my God, this woman is so beautiful. So gorgeous. You hardly see it because half the time she just be looking sad. They're hosting this dinner, and they've invited Andy Le, who never has a +1. Quinton and Katie have been invited, as well as Nadia, who feels like she's forcing a friendship with this person, but this person has extended a dinner invite to her. So I don't know what more she actually wants from Annie. They get there. Guys, a lot happened here. Okay. They're at the dinner. And then, you guys, a lot of us got lost as to how Two-Face got into this chat. But he said randomly, I was watching the sitcom, and they were talking about marriage. Angela's like, I envy what the two of you have, right? I would love this kind of relationship where we grow all together, which in man is code for, I would love to also have a person I can put through so much, and they stick beside me and change my nappies at the end and act like I was the best thing ever. Because what the fuck is it? If you were a woman, you wouldn't look at Addie and Tubaba and be like, oh, I envy that. You fucking wouldn't. Guys, men hate us. Men actually fucking hate us. Angela sat there and said he envies what they have. What the fuck they got? Angela's the only one who wants this recipe to this peach cobbler that the rest of us do. Oh my God. He says that, and then they get to talking about marriage, and then Tubaba says, I was watching this a sitcom or like a movie, I don't know what genre, and he's like, and these people were negotiating their marriage like a business contract, you know? And I feel like these are the kinds of things people should be doing. For instance, you know, a man can only make love to the woman that he loves. Literally, guys, it's segued exactly like this. If you're not keeping up, it's because there was fucking nothing to keep up with. A man can make love to the person he's in love with, but he can have sex with any other with everybody else or anybody else and feel nothing and have it just be sex. And now everybody's puzzled. Annie's sitting there looking embarrassed. So Nadia's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, are you saying this as a generalized thing, or are you talking about what is this conversation we're having? We're all confused at the table. Nadia's just asking the question that we all want the answer to. And then he just goes on. And Annie's trying to redirect him to spare herself, to spare her marriage, because, you know, the narrative construction around what the relationship is falls on the woman, right? We are responsible. That's why we're the ones posting the pictures and doing the birthday events and arranging the dinners, because we are curating the imagery that we want to feed the world as to what this looks like. We're PR in the relationship. We're the ones managing the image. It's quite sad. And, you know, Tubaba is not really helping himself here with the shit that he's saying. What I don't like is that Andile then turns to Nadia and makes this a Nadia problem. Annie stands up and says she's going to the loo. Nobody goes after her, right? Everybody can tell she's upset at what Tubaba just said. Nobody goes after her. He's still talking. He's fucking cash money shit at the table. just being fucking ridiculous, and nobody has gone after her, and Andile somehow makes this a Nadia problem. Like, why are you asking those questions? This didn't start because Nadia asked a question. It started because Tubaba just started like frothing rubbish at the mouth. Like, what is this? But that's the thing about men. And I say this, a few months ago, Naledi had, or it's a while ago now, right? Naledi was in this house with a group of other YouTubers. Naledi, who is a YouTuber as well. And she was meant to be friends with one of the guys, Tato. And he didn't have her back at all. Threw her under the bus, got good views off of throwing her under the bus. And in my take on that video, I said, when you have men in your life and they are considered your friends, because ideally you're supposed to be friends with everybody at the table, including Nadia, you need to understand their socialization, right? And understand that your good guy mate will never take up for you as much as your good girlfriend will. And so you need to treat them accordingly. I've got a lot of guy friends, and I treat it like an individual case. There's some dudes who will always take up for me if I'm right? Even if that means that they're going against the guy code or whatever. Then there are others who are men before they're everything else. Similar to me. I am a black woman before I'm anything else. I am team woman before I am anything else. I don't even black women before I'm anything else. And this is how men operate. They know good and goddamn well that Tubaba was wrong here, but they're all making it a Nadia issue. But they're also supposed to be friends with the same Nadia, right? Why do they do that? Because they exhibit the same kind of traits. They've demonstrated like the same behaviors as Tubaba. So if they allow you to call them out, they're essentially calling themselves out or allowing you to call them out. They can't have that. No, that's not allowed. They can't do all of that. And that's pretty much the end of this, and Andile blames this one. Swanky hosts Bonang and Zari and Fantana for dinner. Lois arrives. Bonang gets into a heated discussion with Lois. Lois is sitting at the table. He explains that, oh my God, X number of years ago, I'm 30 now, I was 23, it was my first event, because Bonang is expecting this conversation. She's so hostile the moment he arrives. Hi, Louis, you a baller. Like, she's so already not very receptive of him because Swanky has already filled her in that something is the matter here. And I don't know, Swanky's messaging was almost like Lois says you owe him an apology, as opposed to how Lois has been saying this all along. I don't know. The nurse explains, I put together this event, you were invited, you got there, and you got like a less than desirable treatment in that your accommodations weren't properly arranged and this and that, and I would just like to apologize for that. Bonang is not hearing this. She's so annoyed. Bonang listens to this little spiel. She's confused because it's now obviously conflicting with what Swanky had communicated to her, and her mate is Swanky in this instance. It's like, but that's not what I heard. So she's like, also, it had nothing to do with me not getting flowers, because Swanky delivered the message in a manner of, oh, they said you were a diva. Like, that was, unless I missed something, guys. So she's looking at this now as this thing, oh, this person said that I'm a diva, and, you know, it's fucking with my brand. Whereas Lois was the one who was like, no, I owe you an apology. I don't even know what happened here. And then with Lois and Fantana going off to the side, Fantana is the type of girl that Fantana feeds into manosphere talking points and I was about to say femcel, but incel talking points where they're like, oh, they always like the bad boys, you know. Lou is a combo, I said that, but like he's fast growing, showing traits of the kind of combo that I like, right? He's stern, like he's a gentle giant who's like secure in he doesn't need to, there's no requirement for him to perform a certain kind of, I don't know, because they hate the M word now, but like, he doesn't feel the need to perform anything. He's really a combo and he's growing on me. He really just is. And I haven't watched the rest of the season. I still just watched the ones I want to review, which is 4 and 5. So I don't know what happens as we move on. And Fantana curbs him hard because, she would rather a diamond. She likes a bag, but she's also young. Like, that's the age where you date the ones you shouldn't date and you make those mistakes. And, stories for the memoir. I always say, that's a chapter of the book. Like, who's going to read your book about how pure and innocent and just you were? Oh, rubbish, please. We want to hear about all the dudes you got with that you had no business getting with. And we want to hear how you were sleeping on a blow-up mattress and, with this, like, person who was at Sun City, this person, and like we don't want to hear how you fell in love with the lowest dog. Nobody's reading that book, like nobody. So I get it, it's the age for her to do this, but it feeds into this thing, y'all, we like bad boys, but the average girl just likes a guy like Lois. Like the average girl really just likes a nice guy who's a bit corny. Like, we like that. Anyway, stay true, girls. Okay, they go back to the table, but Nang still is festering, right? Because she's like, what transpired here? As they're sitting there, the issue of Diamond comes up. Zari and what's her name? Zari and Fantana get into it a little bit over Diamond. Zari really is so delusional about what, like, it doesn't matter, because they explain what's going on between Diamond and Fantana, and Lois is like, do you want to build your career on being associated with male superstars, because then people will know your music, they'll know you for your dating track record, which triggers Bonang, who's already looking for something she's looking for a reason to go at Lois, because he apologized and that was done, but she's still festering, right? Like, she's still in it. So she's looking to grab at something, and this was her opportunity, which, I mean, this could be an actual trigger for her, because she gets attacked a lot on her dating history. Like, we all want to be in charge of Bonang's vagina. She gets attacked a lot on, aside from the fact that the late AKA was partnered with a friend of hers at the time, and then she started dating him and all of that remorse. People were still on her case because she dated D'banj and then she dated whomever. The fact that this is a woman in her 30s with an average, not average in terms of the kind of dudes she's dating because they're superstars, but in terms of that's normal. Like, you date this guy, you break up, you date the next guy. She gets crucified for it, right? And it has a lot to do with the fact that we hate to see a successful woman move like successful men. We would rather she was tied down to some dude that was dogging her the fuck out like Annie, and then would be like calling her a solid woman, and she's like such a good woman. Oh my god, he's putting her through a lot. Oh my god. But she's not doing that. She's dating, and when it's over, she moves on to the next, and she gets attacked for that a lot. So this happens, and then she then goes at Louis. You're like trying to paint him a misogynist. I think it's a valid point that I'm a feminist, that we do not want to have nuanced conversations around these things, right? The society we live in is still very much the society we live in. It's still very much patriarchal, right? And a lot of women still hold our patriarchy. A lot of industries, all of these things are at play. We want people to take ownership of their bodies, their sex lives, do whatever it is they want to do with it. Understanding at the same time that it shouldn't be that you dating these people now diminishes your value. It shouldn't be, but it doesn't change the fact that when you do that, especially in the entertainment industry, you run the risk of you being reduced to, that's the girl that just dates these people who have these large careers. That's a risk you gotta calculate and realize if you want to take that risk and then run with it. And that's what Louis was trying to communicate here. Bonang hammered into this guy for no fucking reason. This was embarrassing to watch as like a Bonang fan. It was disproportionate. It was misdirected. I was truly embarrassed. I was appalled by her action. She's got such a higher profile than him that was uncalled for. I was quite embarrassed at how she handled this, but I was also disappointed in Swanky as the host for not trying to manage the situation. I mean, how can he when he fueled the hostilities, when he essentially lit this match? But that is not to absolve Bonang of her actions, right? She still needs to own her part in what she did here. he's not as accomplished as her. He's also in her country where she's this mega star. He's sitting at this table with people that she knows. He's new in this group. Like, it was a lot going on. He's also still a man, like with that built on him. He can't be puffing out. He's chased at her. So the host must have been like the one to step in to say, excuse me, what is this about? Walking away to go sit by the fire or something. Banan said something about Namibia, something about it being a desert or something, and that really hurt him, and I understand why. And when they were sitting, he's like, he's not apologizing anymore, and I understand that. Like, what more sorry can he say? Bonang leaves the scene. I don't know if it's when it sets in that she's not coming across looking really great. This is why I said I'm not sure why she's on this show. She's used to controlling environments because she's just that bitch, and she can't control this one. She can't. But we still stand. That's what you need to understand. Like, I still go up for B even after this. I'm like, well, shit, she had a, you know, she's human. She had a moment. Hey, girl. Am I the problem? I could be. Anyway, that's what happened in episode 5. Young, famous, and African. Let's get into it. We start off where they left off with the fire, and Swanky's like defending Bonang. I really don't care. The next scene, we see Zari go to link up with Louis. They're calling him Luis now. I'm pretty sure they all started off calling him Lois. But she stops by to see Lou, asking, you know, how do you feel about what transpired between you and B? And, you know, and he's like, I have no more apology to give. And I understand him. We're just rehashing what happened, and I'm annoyed. And it's annoying. They should have just started the episode by scene 3 with Annie and Swanky. We see Annie and Swanky link up. Guys, Annie's moving like the guilty party. She's just moving sus. Like, she's moving like she knows she's done something wrong. And Swanky is moving like a hurt person. He's moving so hurt that he remembers. You know when you've been hurt, you remember the most minute of detail, the tiniest of things, because what often happens is people will try to gaslight you out of your experience. So you make sure to dot your I's or cross your T's and have everything just so, and that's what he's doing. And it's kind of sad to watch. Friends can break you. Friends can really, really break you. They sit down for this chat, and Swanky's like, you know, you shared that voice note that I sent you, and she's like, she immediately apologizes for that. That's another red flag. You know, a person that doesn't let you tell them you're hurt, they just want to quickly apologize because they don't want to hear how you hurt them, how deep you hurt them. They'll offer an apology like that. Careful of people who, I'm so apologetic, I apologize all the time when I'm wrong. No. You must sit there and sit in the discomfort of having to hear what you made me go through. Right? She apologizes for the voice note, for playing the voice note for Zari and Bonang. So then Swanky's then trying to unpack with her how they ended up here. Because I feel like Annie knows she's done something wrong, she's working overtime to avoid any details of their conflict or how they end up in this situation. And she's making everything about what's transpired after. Swanky then explains to her, no, you're going to hear me, right? You were saying some mean things about me, not aware that I was on the other end of the phone, or it was a 3-way call, or I could, you know, whatever. I could hear. Annie denies that this happened. I don't believe Annie. I do not believe Annie, you guys. I really just don't. And then she's like, yeah, but you know, you've left so much room for things to fester and for people to add their things in here and fuel the hostilities for 7 months. I would just like for us to let it go and blah, blah, blah. Of course you'd like for us to let it go because you probably did something wrong. They fake squash it. Oh, Annie then just says sorry. Denied what Swanky said she did. Offers an apology, and for what I don't know. When you're apologizing, you say what it's for. I'm so sorry I said this because this clearly hurt your feelings. I'm so sorry I did this. This hurt you. I didn't mean to hurt you, and I'm sorry I did that. You don't just say I'm sorry. That's what men do. They just say they're sorry. Once a dude just said that to me, like, and I was like, for what? He didn't know. He just thought he had to say sorry so he could get some ass, and it was like, nah, don't fuck him, guys. Like, it was over. I know you're wondering. But yeah, I never fucked him after, actually. Not even after that day. I'm quite shocked about that. Yeah, shocked. Proud of me, but I'm shocked. That's that. They toast and they try to move past it, but like it's like you can tell it's almost like Swanky knows he's not gonna get a sincere apology, and Annie just does not want to sit in her shit. So they both are just like, cheers, right? They toast to friendship and loyalty, bitch. It's never been this fake. Ever. It's never been this fake. Nothing is ever in the history of fakeness. Nothing. Anyway, Nadia links up with Kanye, who's been out of the country, as well as Quentin and Lois. And she tells Kanye before Lois and Quentin arrive that, you know, this happened at the dinner. Two Babas did this and Two Baba did that. And in the confessional, Kanye says, you know, Annie hasn't reached out to me as a friend to aid her in any way. When she wants me to jump in, I'll jump in. Sometimes if you're really friends with a person, they don't need to solicit your support. You know, to just show up and be a friend, right? But I don't know, guys. I don't know. Quentin arrives. He learns that there was this big mishap between Bonang and Lois, or Louis, sorry, where Louis was hammered into by Bonang, and he doesn't understand what transpired because his experience of Bonang has been that she's a pleasant person because they've been friends for a while, blah, 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 worked the same industry. So he's thrown off by the entire thing, and he's like, you know, we'll see. We'll see how this works out. We have Quentin and Kaylee. They're hosting a polo. Everybody shows up looking cute. I love Zari in white. I love Zari in white. Everybody looks cute except for Fantana, who arrives a little bit later in the scene. I feel like, you know, when you get your body done, I'm not saying that's what she did. I don't know anything about this woman. But when you have these BBL type body stuff, you feel like wearing an A-line or anything that doesn't hug you is a waste of your time. Like Portia Williams, it's like she wears one silhouette, and every time she wears it, people fan out, and I'm like, that, like it's like very one-trick pony-ish, and it's like, it's the polo, honey. Okay, it's cute and dainty. It's not the fucking club. Just because you've got a little fascinator on doesn't mean that you are then polo ready. It's not working for what's being done here. It's like, y'all can't believe your hip to ass ratios. Like, you can't believe it, and you must show us at all times. Like, calm down. It will still show even if you wear like something like a cute little dainty frock. Like, God, girl. But anyway, everybody arrives, and oh, I'm surprised. Tuba was in the scene. Tuba arrives with Annie. Him and Swanky exchange, you know, hellos, and they hug and they sit. It's clearly like, oh, look at us, we've made up, but we're not cool, but we've made up. And Zari's like, oh, so you guys are, you know, everybody's quite surprised that these people have made up and it's looking cute, and they congratulate them. So, or not really, they fish for it. Zari's trying to get to the bottom of, oh, but why weren't you guys getting along, you know? Because she can't leave Wild Enough alone. She can't just have, you know, Swanky, who's now her new friend, get back cool with his old friend, right? She must keep the fires going. Love that for her. Fantana goes to the side to chat with Louis about what happened with the Bonang thing, and she says to him, because she keeps saying her and Bonang are close. They fucking not. Because we're so close. She's such a sister to me. Because we're so close. So close. Okay, go. Yeah. They're not. And then she's like, yeah, I won't go on a date with you if you don't like squash things with Bonang. If you're so close with your good sister, why aren't you telling your sister to reach out to him and squash things with him, or for them to just link and have a way forward? Like, you're overplaying your hand here. It's not that fucking serious. Like, would Louis really want to talk to this person whom he feels so hurt by because of what she said about his country? Like, girl, no. It's not that fucking serious. You can't be serious. Like, for real. Guys, I keep forgetting that she's young. I must remember that she's young. I really must. So as they're sitting there, they talk about Diamond. Do you know who's delusional? Zari. And I think I say this every review. Zari is interesting to me. She really does think she's the exception to the rule where Diamond is concerned. She really thinks she's special. they're sitting there and everybody's like, oh, where's Diamond? And then she replies, Fantana, oh, he's touring. Zari, no, he's in Tanzania. Like, okay, is this a competition? First of all, if he said this to you and he said that to the other one, is it possible that a man can lie to two bitches on two different, like, is that possible? Do we want to entertain the possibility that this person may have lied to both of you? Or this person may have lied to you, Zari? Like, you know, because she's that's the father of my child. I know it is. No, girl, you know you're at the polo in South Africa with these people. You don't know what fucking Diamond is. I don't care what he told you. You too, when a Fantana. Like, it's so sad and pathetic for me to watch this row that they doing, and it's like, you big Zari, and like, yes, you're young Fantana, but girl, don't be a fucking dance. Like, you being danced right now. So simple, so embarrassing. And then they're making me watch. What about me? You guys ever think about me when you're doing dumb shit and embarrassing us on the television? God. And Fantana wants to hurt Zari now, right? So she throws in her face knowing this is ammo, right? So, and Diamond had no business telling Zari that, oh, you still want to have more kids with him. And then Zari is hurt by this, but she's trying to play it off. She's like, oh, he told you that? At the same time, she still thinks she's the exception. She still thinks she's so special to Diamond. He didn't hesitate to put your shit out there with this other, with this young woman whom he's just getting frisky with just now. Didn't bother. But then you say in your confessional in the same scene, oh my God, she doesn't know Diamond. She'd be so surprised when she meets the real him. So you met the real him and you still stuck around? But you think when she meets the real him, she will stick around for that. And then in the same breath, you want to tell us how you feel so safe around Diamond. No. Girl. You search yourself. Just a bit. Not too much. Right? And then she's all like, oh, it's none of your business. If I already have 2 kids with that man, if I want to have more kids with him, I'll have more kids with him. Like, all I'm hearing is, I'm stupid, watch me be dumb. It's just, God, it's so heavy. Swanky goes to the site to have a chat with Nadia about where they are with Annie, and he says, you know what, she apologized, but it doesn't feel real, but we'll see what her actions are moving forward, and baby steps pretty much is what he says. Yeah, Fantana is home now, and she calls Diamond, and it just rings and rings and rings, and he doesn't pick up. It's interesting to me in the scene. She's like, oh, Diamond and I haven't really had a chat. Like, I haven't spoken to him in a bit. You know, no. Diamond hasn't touched base with you in a bit. There's this, yo, guys, I know girls is players too, but not really. Fantana is trying so hard to be a city girl and so hard to be like, you know, she's impervious to the shit, and he's not even in her top 5, and, you know, she's just having fun, but the energy that she comes at Zari with is not the energy of somebody who's like, nah, that dude's just on the roster. We know bitches who have rosters as, nah, and they're cold. They're not even just cold to men. They are cold. They detach. They find it hard to bond with. They find it hard to even make friends. You're not that. You're a young woman who's still finding herself. You're seeking approval, and you want to get one up on this woman. You do. I don't care what you say. You do. And she calls him, he doesn't pick up, and she's like, I don't know, maybe he's performing. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know why the benefit of the doubt can't be this man is ignoring my calls. That's a benefit of a doubt to me. It's like he's not. I will never think it's because you're on stage. I will always think like fucking dog, like that's me. You're not on stage. You're stage where? Why don't you have your phone on stage? You can stop the set and say I'm calling now. That's how I feel. Okay, Swanky sets up a meet for the crew to link up at a gin class, distillery type thing. They're gonna learn how it's made and stuff. And Kanye's like, oh my God, I have a gin. And who doesn't have a gin? I can have a gin by the end of the week if I choose. Just saying. Like, a bitch white label some shit or private label some shit and thinks she's done something. Okay, girl. We see you. Anyway, the point of the meet is for Swanky to tell the crew that Bonang has opted out of fucking with the club because she feels like she hasn't been well received. No, Bonang does not want to come back into the group because she would have to apologize to Lois, and her ego based off just how much star power she has doesn't allow her to do that, which is odd as fuck. She really could have just invited Louis for a one-on-one and charmed her way out of this. Really. She could have done that. He would be so taken with her. She could have just reached out to him, and then they could sit down, and then she could explain where she heard wrong, where he heard wrong, and then she could say sorry, and then come across looking like the night, and then come back into the group once her and Louis had sorted their stuff out, looking at everybody else like they're the problem. But she was like, no, my ego can't let me apologize to this like much less known person on an international stage like Netflix. I can't do it, so I'm just gonna opt out. And it's a cop-out. Like for Swanky to say, oh, she feels like when she arrived, you guys didn't receive her well. This is true. Do you know what's like funny to me about Kanye? Kanye last season was she has this projection thing where she's not wrong. But I've said this already. Her and Bonang are almost the same person. Bonang's career just did better than Kanye's, in that Kanye went the controversial route, right? Everything she accuses Bonang of being, she has within herself. The only difference is that Bonang's shit is substantiated. Bonang's attitude or her diva-ness or her expecting like the red carpet to be rolled out for her, that makes sense, right? It may be too much for other people, but she's accomplished enough for that to make sense. And she keeps trying to make like everybody's in the entertainment industry in that room or as a group of friends or on this cast, but no, you're not all as accomplished. You're fucking not. Like, I'm sorry, but Quentin and Black Coffee aren't on the same fucking level. I don't know what to tell you. This whole, oh, and by the way, have you noticed how much bass Nadia has in her voice in Bonang's absence? Did you see how she was but like when Bonang was there, she shrinks. She barely wants to be in the room. She exits left quite quickly. But how much bass she had here, her chest like this the whole time, that is interesting. I didn't miss that. I saw that with my eyes on the telly. But like, she's like, yeah, what did you want us to do? Your problem is that she's not used to being friends with people she's on the same level with. You're not on the same level as this woman. I don't know what you and your Jin, Limapilo Bonza, as we call that BNG, not the same. You're actually nowhere close to being on the same level as Bonang. You as Kanye Mbao in particular, and I adore you, right? You're your own thing over here, and you, in your own right, you are the bitch we fuck with, right? She's just managed to do something that you couldn't do with her career, and it's okay, honey. It's really okay, because we still fuck with you. And you're still here. Like for me, it's still, but I could say, one is not quite like the other, you know? We still love you. But anyway, Swanky goes ham. Swanky has this blind loyalty thing when he's fucking with you. He doesn't want to admit when you've done something wrong. And maybe he's the type of friend who likes to call you out in private and have your back in public. I don't know. But I saw a bit of that with Annie as well. And Kanye's like, you know, he's looking for a new BFF because him and Annie fell out, and that's why he'll take up for Bonang the way he has. You know, Lois hasn't done anything wrong. He's owed an apology. He really is, and that's how I feel. But that's that. That's 4 and 5. I hope I did it. Bye, love.